Dear students, in this session we are going to study regarding support vector machines. These are the objectives of this session. We are going to understand the concept of SVM, the basic algorithm for SVM, kernel methods in SVM, and advantages and disadvantages of SVMs. First, let us start with the basic concept of SVM. SVMs are nothing but they are the sophisticated idea with a simple implementation. SVMs are a set of supervised learning methods which are used for classification, regression, and outlier detection. Next thing is regarding a hyperplane. What actually a hyperplane is and why it is used. A hyperplane is nothing but a high dimensional space which can be used for characterizing the decision boundary, which is used for classification. And what is the goal of SVM? The goal of SVM is we have to find a margin which is a largest one. We'll see all this thing in the next slide. Here we have a simple example wherein we have been provided with two things. One is circle, another one is a square. Now let us assume that here we are going to find a hyperplane which is a optimal one. A hyperplane is nothing but a boundary which is going to differentiate between the two classes. Right, here we are having all the objects that belong to a circle class, and here we have all the objects that belong to a square class. Then if I want to identify like whether a object belongs to a square or a circle, what we are doing over here is we are going to draw a boundary, and when we are drawing a correct boundary, that is nothing but a optimal hyperplane. Next thing is regarding the gutters. You can see over here, we have drawn a dotted line which is parallel to this optimal hyperplane, and apart from this, here also we have drawn a dotted line which is parallel to this optimal hyperplane. And as we have seen, our goal or the agenda is the margin should be a maximum one. Okay, that is our maximum margin over here. Next thing is why actually we have drawn a line over here as well as over here. How actually we have got this two particular lines are, we have considered a point which belongs to a square which is near to this circle object. Then you can see over here we have 2 points which are nearer to this a circle, right? Apart from this, if you consider we are having 5 points which are belonging to a circle class, but when we consider this point is nearer to this point, so we are going to draw a margin over here, and as well as we are going to draw a margin over here. And next thing is, you can see over here we have designed or we have decided that this is our optimal hyperplane. We could have drawn a line in this format, or it could be somewhere over here, but if we draw a line somewhere over here which is a hyperplane, then we will not get a maximum margin. So we have drawn a optimal margin, optimal hyperplane which is inclined in this particular position. If it is tilting to any other direction, then we will not have any maximum margin, which is our main goal. And this is a mathematical formulation of a SVM. We can consider over here we have total 3 lines, and this line is represented with w into x minus b, which is equal to 1, and our hyperplane is represented with this particular equation, and our other one class is represented with w into x minus b, which is equal to minus 1, and whatever the margin we are getting over here, it is given by 2 divided by w, where w is nothing but the normal vector to the hyperplane. Next thing is regarding the kernel method. What actually the kernel method or the kernels are? The heart of SVM algorithm is the kernel method. Most kernel algorithms are based on optimization in convex space and are statistically well founded. Kernel stands for the core or the germ in the fruit. It's like a core in a fruit. Kernel methods operate using what is called the kernel trick. The kernel tricks are nothing but it involves computing and working with the inner products of only the relevant base of data in the feature space. You can see over here, while we are going to take a decision, now let us assume that we have been provided with a new data item, a testing set. Then what we do is we will compare, let us assume that we have been provided with a particular data set which is over here, then what we will do is we will compare this point with this point as well as with this point. We will not compare a particular point which is given to us, which is present over here, with all the data points from a square class and as well as with the circle class. Here just we will be comparing it with the support vectors. Actually I forgot to mention the points which are present on this particular line, we call them as support vectors. That is nothing but the support vector machines are. And one of the important thing regarding the kernel trick is the kernel trick makes the algorithm much less demanding in computational and memory resources. As we have discussed, when we are going to compute the things, we'll be comparing with only the boundary points that are nothing but the support vectors. So less computations are required and less memory is required for saving all these computations. Kernel methods achieve this by learning from instances. That is, they do not apply some standard computational logic to all the features of each input. Instead, they remember each training example and associate a weight representing its relevance to the achievement of the objective. This could be called instance based learning. Okay, this is what we call it as a instance based learning. And there are several types of support vector models including linear, polynomial, RBF and sigmoids. It is somewhat similar to how human beings learn. Okay, we will see now how actually the SVMs are going to understand whether the particular point belongs to a square or whether it belongs to a circle over here. They work similar to a human beings. We learn lessons from tough situations and discard the normal instances, right? Whenever we have got some tough situations, we will remember that, and whatever the normal instances or the normal situations we had in our life, we are going to just discard them. In the similar way, kernels are also going to work on the same principle. In kernel, we assign high weights to the abnormal situations. Whenever we feel or when we get a abnormal situation, we give them highest weights, and for the normal situations we give them a lower weight. Thus the normal situations are almost completely forgotten. And another important attribute of SVM is SVMs have evolved to be more flexible and be able to tolerate some amount of misclassification. Whatever the SVMs we are going to have, there will be some kind of misclassification problem. Now let us assume that if this is the data set that is given to us, here we cannot draw a single line. I cannot draw a line, like if I draw a line over here, then what's going to happen is on one side I'll be having all the circles, but there are some circles which are present over here, and apart from this there are some squares that come under one side. So I cannot draw a single line and I cannot go for classifying the things over here. Instead of this, when we have a kernel, this kernel is going to translate the two-dimensional data points into three-dimensional one. Then we can see over here we have got a plane, a hyperplane over here. This hyperplane is used for decision making, right? Here you can see these are all the points above the hyperplane. They belong to a square class, and the things that are below this hyperplane, they belong to a circle. Like here we have considered a two-dimensional and we have converted it into a 3D. If we have got a three-dimensional data, then what we can do is we can convert it into, or the kernel is going to convert it into four-dimensional, then it goes for classifying the things. Now let us see what are the advantages and disadvantages of support vector machine. SVM works well when the number of dimensions is very high. If you have been provided with a objective of classifying whether the mail is spam or a ham, then we know that the number of instances or the samples that are given to us, that will be less, but in a single sample there will be lot of dimensions. Even in such a condition, our SVM works very fine. Next thing is, another advantage of a SVM is it's a memory efficient. As I have already stated that whenever we are going to classify the things, first we are going to find the support vectors. Once the support vectors are known to us, then we will discard the other points. Just we will compare a data set with only this support points, and we are going to classify whether they belong to a particular class or not. Next thing is regarding the versatile nature of the kernel functions. Kernel functions, here we can have a different kind of kernel functions, so we call it as a versatile over here, and which is one of the advantage of having a kernel. Next thing is conceptually easy to understand, that is whatever the SVM we are going to have over here, they are easy to understand and they make use of convex optimization problem for solving the classification problem. A trained SVM is a set of vectors and much easier to eyeball and understand than a trained neural networks. Already we have studied regarding the neural network, wherein whatever is happening or whatever the calculations that are going on, that cannot be understood by us. But in SVM we can understand some part of calculations. The major disadvantage of having a SVM is it works well only with real numbers. If we don't have a real numbers as an input, then we cannot apply a SVM. Other disadvantage of having a SVM is it works only on two value classification function. That is, if you have only a binary classification problem, then only we can solve this thing. Apart from this, if you have been provided with 3 or 4 classes, then what we can do is we can have a cascading of the SVMs and then we can solve it. Other disadvantage of having a SVM is, model is not understandable for human beings. Okay, compared to neural networks, we can understand something, but major part is not understood by a human being. Training the SVM is an inefficient and time-consuming process when the data is very large. If you have been provided with a data which is very large in nature, then we might consume much more time in training the instances. Next thing is regarding the noise. If noise is present in the training data, then SVM don't work fine over here. SVM doesn't provide a probability estimate of classification. That is, whatever the classification is done, here we will not have like confidence whether it is like 90% accurate or 50% accurate. The probability is not known to us. You can follow a video. I have given a video link over here. You can just go through that if you want to know more things regarding this SVM. Thank you.